All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy, Merry Christmas Eve. Today's day is December 24th, 2021. My name is Rudy McComb. I am CEO and founder of Think Big. And tonight we're going to get into SBOMs. I'm going to have a brief discussion about SBOMs while you're up here wrapping gifts and setting out cookies for Santa and whatnot. We got Log4j vulnerabilities kind of running around. And we have all types of things going on in the open source and software world. So I'm just going to get into a brief discussion, if you will, this fine Christmas Eve about SBOMs and what are they and how we can go ahead and get the information we need in order to find vulnerabilities and remediate them. Okay. So again, if you're just checking us out for the first time, please like, comment, share, and subscribe this video on our YouTube. Retweet it on Twitter, post it over on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you may be social media wise. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Got a nice little deck I'm going to go ahead and fire up over here. And so let's go ahead and talk about it. So SBOMs. SBOMs are fairly new term. You may have heard of bombs if you are a homeowner or if you are any type of industry where you have a collection of materials where you kind of run down that list to make sure that everything that you purchase, everything that you expect to be there is actually there. Well, let's go through the slide deck for a second. So briefly about us. We are Think Big, founded originally in Los Angeles, California, and we're now based in Austin, Texas. So, hello, everybody. But real quick, let's go over SBOM. So, SBOM, what is a SBOM? SBOM is a software bill of materials, is a nested inventory for software, a list of ingredients that make up software. All right, components according to the National Telecommunications Department, which is a sub-department of the Department of Commerce. And it's basically a written record of the ingredients comprising of software products, both open source and proprietary. Why should you care about SBOMs? Well, in May 2021, President Biden went ahead and signed the cybersecurity EO in order to establish improvements into our software supply chain as the federal government sees fit. That EO basically mandated and it codified a standard for software that is provided to anyone building, buying, or operating software on federal networks. SBOMs are now a requirement for vendors contracted with the federal government. And SBOMs allow everyone in the supply chain to refer to their ingredients if and when a vulnerability or update emerges. Okay. So it's very important as we have software constantly being revised and merged and PR submitted and things of that nature. You really want to know, well, what version am I on? And then what components of this particular piece of software application are made up of other components, and do those components have vulnerabilities? So what are the benefits? Well, first off, the automation of software auditing and standards. It's the first big main benefit. Okay, we can now automate these processes instead of manually grepping and looking through logs and versions and things of that nature. We also get to know with certainty whether production applications are using a particular version of code that is now vulnerable. And then also quickly identify the location of vulnerable code, libraries, binaries, containers, and Kubernetes clusters. And we also have knowledge now and insight because of SBOMs of how quickly a particular update can be applied, right? So if we are able to see, hey, you know what, this container, this library, this binary, what have you, is being used in this location, on this repository, in this application, that will now be able to inform us in terms of what that time frame is going to look like. We can speak to it with some degree of certainty as opposed to just saying, well, I'm not sure. So what's in an SBOM? Well, an SBOM contains information about the author, who supplied it, the component name, version string, component hash, unique identifier, and licensing. And what tools are out there to create SBOMs? Well, there's a couple tools that are out there. Um, First big tool I will go ahead and shout out is Anchor. This tool is called Syft. Anchor is a really big, what I consider a security company in that space of open source. They have awesome tools. Syft is probably the most powerful tool because Syft will actually allow you to generate a SBOM with spdx, with cyclonedx. There's a couple different options, and I'll get into that in a second. The next major one is SPDX, the Software Package Data Exchange, which is now an international open standard as of August of this year. There's a link to that particular SPDX SBOM generator. Awesome tool. Can't say enough about this tool. And again, it is an international standard, so you can expect this to be used no matter what country you're in. Cyclone DX CLI is another fantastic tool. And then there's Tern. And then last but not least is SIG BOM. SIG BOM is a new special interest group from the Kubernetes community. I believe this formed right after or right before KubeCon. Funny enough, I think the group who started SIG BOM said initially they were not a SIG at that time, but now there is a SIG. So I encourage you to check out that link as well. So let's talk about demos, right? Let's go ahead and look and see what we have to show off here. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a Docker pull on, well, let's do JBoss Wildfly. Okay. So using latest, we can see that the image is currently up to date. Okay. And the reason we're doing this because we're actually going to look into this container to actually see if this container has any log4j vulnerabilities. Go ahead and use Syft. We're going to go ahead and run Syft against this container, JBoss Wildfly. We're going to output it to SPDX and we're going to grunt for log4j. Now, I'm almost certain we're not going to see anything in there when I do it this way, but for what it's worth, let's run it anyway. So right now the image is being loaded from Docker into Syft. I see we have a new version of Syft available, so we'll go ahead and update that later on this evening. And now Syft is parsing the image, is cataloging the packages. And wow, it's pretty interesting. Looks like we have some vulnerabilities right here. Okay. Apache Software Foundation Log4j. And if you are familiar with the vulnerability range, I think it's 2.14 down to 2.0, which means that this particular container has a vulnerability. Okay. Now that is the SPDX standard. Now, what happens if you just go ahead and grep for log4j? Well, let me show you. Again, loading the image into Syft, saving the image to disk. And then Syft is going to go ahead and parse that image, run down the catalog of packages, and then provide us with that information. And let's see what it says. Awesome. All right. So in this container, we have the log4j API at 2.14.1. That is what we're looking for. Okay. So we can know for certainty that this particular container does have a vulnerability because it does contain the log4j API and its version of 2.14. All right. So we would definitely want to go ahead and move off of this version, either patch it or get an understanding of where we can go, right? Is there another container we can use? Is this something you want to patch yourself or do you want to submit a PR? All right. So real quick, let's run through the Syft help and let's see what we have here. So we take a look at the help menu. we see under examples the how to basically run Syft and the different outputs, right? So we can go ahead and output the JSON, right? So to show all possible cataloging details. And then we also output the cyclonedx. So that's the cyclonedx formatted SBOM. And we can also do SPDX and SPDX JSON or just a verbose debug information, right? And for those who want to see what the cyclonedx looks like and the JSON, I'll go ahead and run that again. Syft is a really awesome tool. Again, it's not the only tool for generating SBOM, but it is a favorite tool of mine because I can jump into other SBOM types and send those out as opposed to switching tools. All right, so this is what the SPDX JSON looks like. Okay. And then I think we also want to look at the cyclonedx. So let's go ahead and output it to cyclonedx as well. So, so back up here. I think I'm doing this one wrong. Hope you are enjoying your Christmas Eve. And of course, I can't spell. I put in cyclone. So it's been a long day. There we go. So if you're just joining us, again, we are parsing through a container using Syft. And we are looking at the JBoss Wildfly container for Log4j vulnerabilities. And there you have it. So this is the cyclonedx SBOM output. You can see here Log4j API, the package Maven, right? And then there's the one there, right? 2.14. And then you also have other information for the other packages that are part of this particular container as related to Log4j. Now, what happens if you don't grep for Log4j? What does the output look like? So let's run through that. Take a quick look at it. Now, I haven't looked into this, but I think it would be a really cool feature if you could actually generate multiple uh, SBOM standards with one command. That would actually be pretty cool. And then send those to different files. So this is what the cyclonedx standard looks like off on its own. Again, it's pretty straightforward. This is something that you would want to package with this container. You can actually utilize the SBOM generator within another container, and I think you can run Syft within your CI/CD pipeline as well. But we'll probably have to do a test on that to verify. And I just noticed that you actually can't see the below portion of the output there. That should be better. Okay. So just wanted to go over what Syft was, give you a good idea of how to go about um, finding issues related to Log4j, give you some information on how to get ahead of the curve, how to not get back to work, or if you're working on call, during the holidays, like a lot of my colleagues are. And you're like, man, you know what? This Log4j stuff is out of control. I need a faster way to look this information up. Again, feel free to take a look at any of the tools that we covered. We went over the SBOM generator, the spdx tool. We also went over the SIG BOM Kubernetes group. Went over cyclonedx, and then we also covered Syft and tern. All right. So, and again, here's the output spdx JSON. All right. And without any output, let's go ahead and just run this one last time. So not sending to any particular standard, just running Syft against this Docker container that we've gone ahead and pulled down. And so here's the other information of all the other packages that are inside the container. Since we're not looking for anything Log4j specific, we see we have fast info set, Java EWA, Pygo object, or Pig object, I think it's Pig object, ACL SPI, ActiveMQ, Artemis, H extensions, and then the AGRAW API. Okay. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. Just wanted to go ahead and get this live up here, so that way if you find yourself in a pinch during the holidays, you're on call and you needed some quick information on how to go about remediating containers, just find out information about a particular package, right? As it pertains to Log4j or any type of vulnerability that you're looking for, you definitely want to take a look at these tools. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for your time. Check us out on Twitter at ThinkBig, LinkedIn ThinkBig. Check out our website, thinkbig.com. And just before I close out, again, my name is Rudy. I'm founder CEO of ThinkBig. We are a cloud management company. We help you go ahead and manage, modernize your applications. Help you migrate applications into the cloud from on-premise. We also will help you as it pertains to Kubernetes management, managed services, DevOps as a service, CI/CD pipelines. We can advise you on all things cloud native. And we work with AWS, Azure, and GCP. So if you are in the Austin area and you're looking for a cloud native partner to help you either augment your current team or help answer some questions or really bring your application to market faster, or if you're not in the Austin area, again, we are remote, we are global, so we can help you no matter where you are in the world. Please check us out. Send us an email at info@thinkbig.com. Again, that's going to be info@thinkbig.com. My name is Rudy McComb. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Be safe and have a blessed weekend to you and yours. Thank you. Take care.